So today we're going to get started on our back. So making your way down, bringing the soles of the feet together, let your knees open wide. Beginning to get into your hip opening right away. Now, if this is uncomfortable, you can place pillows or blocks underneath the knees, and that'll support your muscles. And let's bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Taking deep inhales. And then lengthening your exhale. Feel the chest and the belly rise on the inhale. Notice if you're holding tension in the bodies, maybe in the hips or the legs. See if on your exhale you can release the tension and melt down a little deeper. Notice if you're holding tension in the jaw muscles or around the neck and shoulders. And again, with your exhale, think of releasing tension, melting the body closer to the earth, growing heavier. Last few breaths, just like this. Notice if your hips begin to open up a little bit deeper after these long, releasing, relaxing breaths. And let's take 3 clearing breaths all together. On your next inhale, breathing in through the nose. And with your exhale, breathing out the mouth, making as much noise as you possibly can. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Last round, inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. Coming back to your natural rhythm of breath. Maybe setting an intention for your practice today. Perhaps to stay in the present moment. Or maybe to practice non-judgment on the body. And with your next inhale, using your hands, begin to draw the legs together. And then let's bring knees towards the chest and begin to rock side to side. Just beginning to find movement in the body. And then we'll make our way to happy baby. So bringing knees towards the armpits, grabbing either the outside of the feet or maybe it's the ankles. And then from here, you can again rock side to side, or you can stay right in center. This is a hip opener, so think of knees opening out to the sides as you pull the feet straight down, and you'll feel the opening in the hips when you do that. And gently release through the legs. We're going to extend or start with the left leg bent and then bring the right knee in towards the chest. So left hand holds the foot, right hand cradles the thigh or the knee, and you'll gently kind of move through your hip here. And that might be side to side, maybe it's more like a circle. Left leg can stay bent, or you can extend left leg long if you'd like. We're just manually opening up through the hip and through the glute here, but it should feel good, so don't go too deep in this part. And then begin to bend into the left leg if it's extended, right ankle over left thigh, and then pull the left thigh towards the body. If you want, you can use your right elbow to gently push the right thigh even further away from the body. And you should feel that opening up in the glute and the outer thigh when you do that. And take about 2 to 3 breaths here, opening up through the hip. As I said earlier, even if you do not plan on doing the arm balance today, you can still get a really deep hip opening, preparing for flying pigeon. Last breath here. And then releasing your leg, begin to let your right leg cross all the way over the left leg. So your knees are stacked, and then grabbing for the ankles. And then maybe again, rocking side to side. Now, if this does not feel good, you can stay right here with our supine figure 4. This is reclined Gomukhasana. So gently pushing the hips down into the mat while you're here. And slowly release through the legs. Let's start that whole sequence over on the other side. Bringing left leg in towards the chest, right leg can stay bent or extend along the floor. And just begin manually opening up through your left glute and hip. Maybe working out any little pops in the hips here. Maybe you find a point that feels really nice on your leg and you can kind of deepen the stretch there for a moment and then find movement again. And then begin to bend into the right leg and find your figure 4. Reaching through and pulling right knee towards the upper body. Now, if you lift the head in order to do this, you can grab a towel or a sweater and loop it around your right thigh, and that way you can hold on to that to stretch instead of having to lift the head. Maybe your left elbow pushes left thigh away from you for a deeper stretch. Let's find another breath or two here. And then making our way into reclined Gomukhasana. So left leg crosses over right leg, knees are in alignment, grabbing either for the ankles, maybe the outside of the feet if that's accessible to you. And then notice if your hips have lifted and try to gently roll them back down onto the floor. Rocking side to side here. The closer your heels are to your thighs, the easier the stretch will be, and the more your knees are at about a 90, with your feet kind of lifted, the deeper the stretch will be. And if this gets uncomfortable at any point, find that figure 4 stretch again. Last 2 breaths. And gently unwind through the legs. Let's take a quick moment to let the legs drop side to side. And then once again, let's bring the legs up. We'll bring the feet together and open through the knees. Arms extend up, and let's find little crunches. So we are in our Bakasana crunches. We've done this arm balance before, Bakasana, crow pose. And you will get a chance to do that arm balance later as well. Now, as I've said before in other classes, core engagement is what really helps you in your arm balance. It's one of the most crucial things you can do is have that core engagement. So we're building that heat now. Keep breathing here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your legs back to tabletop. Lay back down for just a moment. And they're going to reach back up to our right. Now you can keep your legs bent and have the left foot tap down here, or you can extend through the legs, keep reaching through the arms, and have a straight left leg tap down. So your arms are reaching to the right and your right leg stays stable. Keep lifting up with the upper body here. Really engage through your core. So even if you're not engaged, you're still gonna feel that core work, and that's often why people don't actively engage their core. But I want you to actively engage the core here. We have 3 more rounds. 2. Last one. And release down. And exhale, reach to the left. Drop your right leg down. Again, legs can be bent here and you can be tapping the foot down to the earth, or legs extended, right leg lowering all the way down. Keep lifting up with the upper body. Lift a little higher, last 3. And 2. And 1. And lower down. Let's windshield wiper the legs side to side again. And then bringing knees into the chest, begin to rock and roll forward and back. Aiming for about 5 rocks here. And then once you have enough momentum, we're going to cross the shins and roll all the way forward into our tabletop. From here, setting up for cat-cow. So shoulders are right stacked over the wrists, hips right over the knees. With your inhale, drop the belly. Feel the stretch. That probably feels nice on your abs. Exhale, round through the back. Press through the palms. Find a few rounds like this. Now, cat pose is especially important here because you embody that similar feeling when you're in an arm balance, where you pull the belly in and lift up and find that buoyancy. Last 2 rounds, getting a little deeper each round. And release back through center. From here, we're going to extend one foot out, followed by the other, and find our plank pose. Now again, we're really firing up the core to prepare for arm balances. You can stay right here, or if you want to add on, lift right leg up. Part of flying pigeon is extending one of our legs back. So 3-legged plank kind of adds a little extra emphasis to our hip flexors and warms them up, again, to just prepare us for that peak pose. Slowly lower that leg down, lift your other leg. Keep breathing, last breath. And lower left leg down, drop to the knees. We're gonna do 3 chaturanga push-ups. Elbows squeeze in, lower down to 90, press up. 2 more. Lower down to 90, notice how elbows stay in, not out. Press up. Last time, lower to 90. Press up. Lower down and hold. 3 breaths. Chaturanga is so important for your arm balances. Elbows squeeze in, press to all 10 fingertips. Lower all the way down. Good job. Reach arms behind you, palms press into the mat, tops of the feet press into the earth. With your next inhale, lift your upper body, reach your fingertips back, lift your feet up as well. Lower down. 2 more times. Inhale, roll the shoulders up and back, reach through the feet and the arms. Lower down. 1 more time. Inhale, lift. And slowly lower down. Press through the palms, moving through reverse tabletop. Reach hips up and back to down dog. Pedal through the heels here. Drop through the hips, extend through a leg or both legs, whatever you want here. You have 3 breaths in down dog to just move through the body. This is where we learn to really listen to our body. What does it want? Where is it stiff? Where is it tight? Instead of just listening to the teacher, because I don't know what your body needs today. One more breath here. Next inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, little steps to the top of the mat. Press through the heel. Grab opposite elbows, swing side to side. Shake through the head, make some yeses and some nos. And release the arms down. Roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. Shoulders and head rolling up last. Find Tadasana. Slight bend in the knees, palms face forward. Drop the shoulders out of the ears and then lift the crown of the head. Next, inhale, sweep arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Hands come to shins. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Begin to roll or float down through your chaturanga. So knees or toes, lowering down, arms to 90. Inhale, lift up through your back bend. And exhale, lower down. Push to tabletop, back to down dog. Next inhale, right leg sweeps up, open hip. Exhale, knee to nose, lift through the core. Step your right foot through. Plant your back foot, warrior 2. So that front knee is going towards the pinky toe. Sink lower in the hips. Shoulders are stacked right over your hips here, not reaching forward. Next, exhale, arms circle down. Step back, float through your chaturanga. From down dog. Next, inhale, left leg lifts up, open hip. Exhale, knee to nose, lift through the core. Step left foot through, plant your back foot. Arms open up into a T. Warrior 2, left leg forward. Beautiful form, core is engaged. Reach through those fingertips. Next, exhale, arms circle down. Step back to plank. Flow through your chaturanga. Those 90-degree arms, you really want to imprint now to help with your arm balance. From down dog, next inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, bend into the knees. Step or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep arms up. And exhale, hands to heart center to mountain pose. Take a breath here. Notice if your breath has become labored or shortened, and try to lengthen your breath out once again. Same exact flow. Next, inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step or float through your chaturanga. You know where we're going. Next inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose, lift through the core. Step right foot through. Circle arms up to warrior two. This time maybe you sink a little bit lower in your warrior. Next, exhale, arms circle down. Step back to plank. Flow through your chaturanga. Next, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose, lift through the core. Step left foot through. Inhale up to warrior two. Sink a little lower in the hips. Left knee is opening towards the pinky toe. Back foot is planted into your mat. Make sure your pinky edge of your right foot isn't trying to lift up off the floor. Next, exhale, arms circle down. Stepping back to plank, flowing through your chaturanga. One breath here, and down dog. Next, inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, bend into the knees, step or float up. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep arms up. And exhale, hands to heart center to mountain pose. Taking a few breaths here. Let's begin to lift up onto the toes. Bring arms forward. Bending into the knees, we're gonna lower all the way down as slowly as we can. Knees are going straight forward. And once you've made your way down, you can bring your hands down to support you as you lower down. From here, let's extend through the right leg. And then we're gonna bring that left foot on top of the right thigh. Now, I've noticed if my foot is too high at my quad, it digs in my muscle and doesn't feel very good. So my left foot is actually closer to my knee. You can adjust. If this really doesn't feel good, keep left foot on the ground with the sole of the left foot into the right thigh. Either way, let's inhale nice and tall. Roll the shoulders down and back, engage the core. Exhale, take a forward fold. Now, if your knee is lifted because your foot's on your thigh, gently let that left knee kind of melt towards the mat. I don't want you to push it, but I want you to encourage it to drop down naturally. Flexing right toes towards the shin, roll the shoulders back, long spine. Melt a little deeper, last breath. Next, inhale, walk hands back up. Let's bend into that right leg. So now we're in a seated figure four. It might feel good to kind of move the hips a little side to side. And the further your knee or your right heel is to the body, the deeper the stretch. So adjust your foot as necessary. And then we're gonna begin to bend into the right leg and find what's called fire log. So your shins are actually stacked here and you have approximately ankle to knee alignment on both sides. Now, if it does not touch here, grab a pillow and put a pillow in between your right foot and left knee, and that'll provide a little extra support. Flex your toes back towards the shins. You'll feel the engagement in the muscles when you do that. Let's once again inhale nice and tall. And if you want a deeper stretch with your exhale, begin to fold forward. You probably won't go too low unless you're really flexible here. Think of presenting through the chest still, long spine. Last breath. And with your next inhale, lift back up. Final pose we're gonna do in this series, begin to cross the legs over. So this is just like what we did earlier on our back, that kind of knee to knee alignment. The closer your heels are towards the glutes, the less intense it is, and the more you push the heels away and find that 90 degree at the knee, the more intense the stretch will be. Flex toes back to the shins, sit up nice and tall. Begin to extend your right arm up to the sky. Left arm reaches behind or out to the side, rotate the palm back, bend into both elbows. Now, if your fingertips don't touch, that's totally fine. But I want you to still think of dropping the shoulders and opening through the chest and reaching elbows to the back of the room. This is Gomukhasana, cow face pose. If your fingers do touch each other, use that bottom hand to gently pull down the top hand and kind of deepen the stretch. If you want to take a forward fold here, you can. Completely up to you. Again, you probably won't go very far. If you do, keep breathing. With your exhale, melt. Release tension. Last breath. And slowly come back up through center. Unwind the arms, unwind the legs. Let's shake through the legs, roll through the shoulders. And then we'll switch sides. So now we'll bend to the right leg, on the thigh if that feels comfortable, or on the floor. Let's inhale nice and tall, flex left toes back to the shin. Exhale, take a forward fold. Let that right knee organically melt down. And with your next inhale, slowly lift back up. Hands come behind the body as you bend into the left leg, finding that upright figure four. Maybe it feels good to let the hips drop side to side, or maybe it feels better to stay in center. I want you to flex the right toes back towards the shin too. As small of a movement as that is actually important for our peak pose today. Last breath here. And then let's begin to bend into the left leg more, finding fire log. So again, you have kind of the shins stacked on top of each other. Maybe you place a pillow in between your right knee and your left ankle. If they don't touch, basically, that's when you'd want to use a pillow. With our next inhale, we'll sit up nice and tall, flex toes towards the shins. And with your exhale, take a small forward fold. And keep that engagement in the legs. So the toes are flexing back to the shins. Your legs are engaged. Maybe with your exhale, you can fold a little deeper. Last 2 breaths. And with your next inhale, lift back up. Making our way to Gomukhasana. Right leg keeps going to the left, stacking the knees here. Flexing toes back to the shins, maybe adjusting heels towards the glutes to make it a little easier. Sitting up nice and tall, find that engagement in the legs. Notice if your right hip's trying to lift up off the mat and gently let it sink back down to the earth. From here, we'll extend left arm up to the sky, right arm out to the side, rotate the palm back, and bend into both elbows. Now this side might be tighter if you're right-handed. Completely normal for your 2 sides of the body to feel different. Wherever you're at, drop the shoulders out of the ears, reach elbows to the back of the room, and engage your core. Last few breaths. If you want to take that forward fold, you can. With your next inhale, lift back up and release the arms and legs. Let's again shake through the legs, roll through the shoulders. And then we're going to cross the shins and roll forward to tabletop. We're going to go back into a little bit more heat building. Let's tuck the toes and lift up back to down dog. And we're going to find a little bit more core work. Next inhale, right leg lifts up. Exhale, right knee to right tricep. Lift up through the core. Yeah, nice. Again, inhale, extend up, 3-legged down dog. Exhale, right knee, right tricep, lift. One more round, inhale, extend. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Now, this is where it gets pretty challenging. We're gonna stay here and then slowly bring right knee to left arm. Back to right arm. Back to left arm, keep lifting through the core. Back to right arm, one more time. Left arm, right arm, and then find pigeon. So drop your shin to the mat, right knee to the right side. Yeah, beautiful. With our inhale, we're going to roll the shoulders back, lift up through the upper body. And then with our exhale, we can walk the arms forward if that feels good. If you want to stay upright because you're already getting enough of a stretch, stay right here. Now you can stay right here in pigeon, or if you want to do a little different variation, begin to walk back up onto the hands, bend into your left knee, and reach left hand back for left foot. This will deepen the stretch in your left quad. Maybe pull the foot a little closer to the glute. One or two more breaths here. Maybe pull a little deeper. And gently release the leg. Plant through the palms, tuck your left toes. Right leg sweeps back up to 3-legged dog. Bend into the knee and open up through your hips. Maybe take some circles here. And then drop right leg down. Next inhale, left leg lifts and sweeps up to the sky. Exhale, left knee to left tricep. Try to tap as high on the arm as you can. Inhale, extend. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Lift through the core. One more time, inhale, extend. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Hold here. Left knee gently sweeps to the right arm. Back to the left. Back to the right. Back to the left. One more time, right. Left. And set up for pigeon. Left leg shin drops down to the mat. Right leg stretches behind you. Inhale, nice and tall. Left toes gently flexing towards the shin. Left hip dialing back, right hip forward. Exhale, lower down onto the forearms or walk the arms forward. One more breath here. And if you want to add on, next inhale, lifts back up onto the arms or hands. Bend into the right leg and reach back for your right foot. Keep your hips faced forward though, so don't open to the side to do this. Your left hip is still dialing back, right hip forward. And slowly release your foot down. Plant through the palms, tuck the right toes, left leg lifts up, bend into the left knee and open up through your hip. And drop left foot down. Walk hands back to meet your feet. We're gonna heel toe the feet out wider, heels in, toes out, bend into your knees, find Malasana. Now we're gonna hold here for 5 breaths. So if you wanna play around with your crow pose, now's your chance. As a reminder for crow pose, you'll wanna bring hands forward, lift up onto the toes, lift your hips high, and bring your knees in towards the triceps. And you wanna find chaturanga arms so that you have that shelf. Now the reason I always allow you guys to kind of practice crow pose in any arm balance class is because crow is usually the first arm balance people get. So it's just a really good foundation to practice. And you don't even have to lift the toes. You can just play with shifting the weight forward and lifting one toe at a time. Keep lifting your hips up. That looks really good. Last maybe 2 breaths to kind of play around here. And then we'll all begin to meet back in Malasana. And reach arms down, extend through the legs, heel toe feet together. Let's inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep arms up. Coming into our peak pose today. You do have some options. So I'll kind of guide you through this. So we'll start with stork pose. So bringing right leg in front of the body, challenging our balance here. Now, kind of peak pose option 1, cross right ankle over left thigh, sit back into your chair pose, and you'll feel that glute opening and stretch here. You can have a wall or a chair nearby too if you need a little help with balance. Keep spine lifted. This is peak pose 1, standing pigeon. If you want to try the arm balance, I'll kind of talk you through it if you want to watch me, and then I'll talk you to go through it. You'll bring hands down to the floor, and everything we talked about today kind of comes into play here. You want to bring those toes, right toes to left tricep, and then you want to flex and kind of wrap around the tricep. Shift your weight forward, find chaturanga arms. Your shin is on your elbows, on your triceps. And then you'll shift your weight forward, gaze a few inches forward, and then maybe left foot lifts off the mat. It might just be a second. I'll guide you guys through that facing this way now for a different angle. So again, from the standing pigeon pose, you'll bring your hands down. You'll shift your weight forward, palms press into the earth, right toes wrap around left tricep, shift your weight forward. Hips are lifted. Maybe your left foot lifts off the mat. I'm gonna come look at the videos that are on in case I can give any guidance. And again, this is not an easy pose. I've been practicing yoga for 4 or 5 years, and I only just did this the first time like a year ago, I think. And I'm still not very good at it. Nice, yeah. So it's really about that balance. This is where you can place a pillow underneath your head if you're scared of tipping forward. You really do have to shift your weight forward, as awkward as it feels, so that you can kind of counter that. You'll notice that as you shift forward, your back left leg kind of naturally lifts up. That's what you want. Core is engaged. Lift the core, lift the hips. Nice, yeah. Those moments turn longer. And if you're still in standing pigeon, I applaud you because that's not an easy pose. And when you're done kind of playing around with this side, we'll lift back up through our standing pigeon and then back through standing. And then we'll play around on the other side. Finding stork pose first. So left leg lifts in front of the body. Begin to find your balance in the right foot. Then begin to cross the left ankle over right thigh and sit back into that chair. Left knee is dropping down to the mat. You can stay right here for as long as you can, or hands begin to come down to the mat. Now again, this takes a lot of glute flexibility to even get to this pose, right? You plant through the hands, wrap your left toes around your right tricep. Your shin should be resting on right above your elbows. Gaze slightly forward, shift your weight slightly forward, and then you can begin to lift the right foot. Full expression of this pose, you do extend through the right leg. Whew. Depending on the day, I can or cannot hold that. It also might help, I don't know if anyone's on carpet, but it might help to try this on like a hardwood floor or tile. Wrap your toes around the tricep. As weird of a cue as that is, it does help because it kind of keeps that left leg secure. Yes, beautiful. Nice. And actually the modified version of this is you let your head go to the floor and you keep it there. So if you want to try that, if you have that pillow, you can let your head come down and play with lifting your foot from here. It is a lot easier because instead of bouncing on your hands, you have your head. And that can kind of help you get the feel for it. Nice, yeah. Yeah, beautiful. And then it's just like that, but with your head off. And I promise, this is one of those things where I tried. And then one day, it just clicked. And I was like, oh, this is how you do it. It's really weird. When you're done playing, we'll come up through our chair or our standing pigeon and come all the way up to standing. Let's roll through the wrists a little bit, finding figure eights. And then gently shaking through the wrists here. Side to side, up and down. Let's step our right foot behind the left foot. Reach arms up overhead. Left hand grabs right wrist and pull to the left. Release through center, switch sides. Left foot steps behind right. Right hand pulls left wrist to the right. And gently release. Let's turn side to side, twist side to side. And then come back through center. Roll through the shoulders to the back. And roll through the shoulders to the front. And then let's bend into the knees and make our way down onto the mat. Using our core, let's lower all the way down onto our belly. And we spent all class kind of curled into a ball. So let's counteract that with bridge pose, walking heels towards the glutes. And then lifting hips up on your inhale. You can stay here or interlace fingers underneath the glutes and then walk shoulders underneath the upper body. And slowly lower down. Arms extend out. Let your legs drop to the right as your hips scoot to the left. Turning your face to the left as well. And on your next inhale, lifting back through center. With your exhale, let your legs drop to the left, hips to the right, and then turn your gaze to the right as well. Next inhale, slowly lift back through center. And with your exhale, extend legs out to the corners of the mat. Bring arms alongside the body with the palms turned up. Gently close your eyes if they're not already. And allow yourself to sink into your mat for Shavasana. This is where we allow everything we learned today to really absorb into the body and give our body the rest it deserves. And you can stay here in your Shavasana for as long as you'd like. Or if you're ready to begin coming out, start by deepening your breath. Then drop the head side to side. Begin to wiggle through the fingers and the toes, roll through the wrists and the ankles. And on your next inhale, sweep arms up overhead for a full body stretch. With your exhale, rolling onto one side and pausing here. Experiencing how it feels to not be rushing to your next activity. Taking a moment of gratitude for your body, for supporting you through your practice today. And as you feel ready, beginning to make your way up into a seated position. Drawing hands together at heart center and bowing your head in honor of your practice. The highest light in me sees and honors the highest light in each and every one of you. Namaste.